What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Knockout Sessions. It's your dynamic duo, Julio, Milton.
Jam. How y'all doing? Anyways, let me start by saying, wow, this was one of the most anticipated weekends for boxing ever. But before we get into it, you already know what to say.
Hit the like, share, and the subscribe button, everybody. Y'all know the routine. Y'all know what's up. Social media handles are in the description. Para la gente en español, ya saben que los subtítulos están en la esquina. Aplasten like, suscríbanse, compártenlo. As my compadre here was saying, it was a very jam-packed. See what I did
weekend.
There? Jam. Shout out to Jam.
Jam-packed weekend. We had stars like Haney, Teofimo, Ryan, Rolly, Canelo, Jaime Munguila, Inoue, Rafael Espinosa, all in one weekend.
Now, let me ask y'all this. How many of those fights were exciting?
But God, did they fuck this up.
That was a whole Avengers lineup that this man just listed.
Oh my God.
And it was probably the worst weekend of boxing, personally, I have ever seen in my life. Not for the quality of stars. I'm glad, again, we're
working on putting these types of weekends.
So back then it was like we had good fights, just not the matchups. Now we got some matchups, not good fights.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's just the curse at this point. I don't know who the boxing gods hate right now, but we'll start off with topic number one: Canelo versus the GOAT, William Scull.
Yes, Canelo obviously is Cinco de Drinko, star of the weekend, every year, guaranteed, or your money back. And if you saw that fight and you paid for it, you better ask for your money back.
And if you traveled all the way to Saudi Arabia to watch your boy, Lord.
Now, let me rephrase this, though, because I didn't like what you just said. You can't say that shit. You cannot say for your boy, because unless you're talking about William Scull, you cannot blame this on Canelo. If someone
2025 Canelo, I can blame it on.
No, you cannot.
If it was 2021 Canelo, it would have been a different story.
No. You cannot show up to an undisputed fight, get an opportunity of a lifetime, and show up to run, not fight, but run.
Run, Forrest, run.
Like, who shows up on a high ticket level fight versus the star face of boxing in Saudi, where the homies are fucking dropping bricks of gold on you, and you cannot, for the life of you, throw a punch? Or do you disagree?
You're here to collect the payday. That's what it is.
So you agree?
With what? With what
I just said. That you agree that William Scull was in his right to fucking run because he was guaranteed a payday.
Everybody's in their right to run.
Do you agree with it?
No.
So do you blame Canelo for Scull running?
The blame is shared in this way: 70-30. 70 Scull, 30 Canelo.
Elaborate, please.
Because you cover the Scull part. Of course you did. But 2021 and below, Canelo would have cut the ring off, would have ended the fight, probably would have focused more on the heads instead of going for the body. Now, hold on. I'll let you talk.
Canelo is known for being the body man. Don't say that shit.
Now he's only the body man. That's it.
How do you stop a runner? Hit him in the ribs.
You cut the ring off.
He was cutting the ring off.
Did he, though?
He was. You watch Canelo fights, right? You know his movement has always been the same, right? But what was happening? Fucking little William Scull was.
Be honest. Younger Canelo would have probably at least knocked him down.
See, and that is the topic of discussion. Younger. Everyone now wants to talk about how Canelo has aged.
Has he not?
No, of course he's aged.
Thank you.
Okay? But it's not about that. It's about if a person did not come to fight, they came to survive.
70% Scull. I said 70% of the mess that was made was Skull's fault.
See,
The 30%
I
is
think you're saying the wrong words though. That's why you're triggering something in my head that's like, fuck this motherfucker, right? It's not that he didn't cut the ring off. What I personally believe is Canelo fucked up at not letting his hands go.
again. Like, is this a Canelo thing or is it an age thing?
This is Canelo all the time. Canelo's known for low output.
Exactly. He's got to change that up a little bit now.
No, he just had
as he gets older.
No, he just had to change it up for this fight. But he did it, right? And a lot of people are saying, well, obviously he got $100 million to fucking fight a nobody. Why the fuck would he risk
the nobody? I don't care about. He's a mandatory.
The Crawford fight, right? Okay, whatever, right? But now people are saying like, oh, Crawford has fucking
like he went from 30% chance to like 70% chance.
Yeah, everyone flipped on, and it's okay. I've always said, look, he gave up his fucking fam card years ago. It's okay. These haters have always been out there. These flip-floppings have always been out there. It's all right.
Call it what you want. I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to put this headliner simple. And I told you this the other day.
Canelo is old. Of course he's old. This is why this is his last 3
Didn't say fights. That. That's not what I was going to say. Canelo has fight winning skills still. He just no longer has fight ending skills anymore.
Okay, but you look at someone that we saw this weekend, Teofimo Lopez. He has like 25, 26 fights, 13 knockouts. He's never stopped being exciting.
That's because he's more flamboyant in the ring. Like, he's more of a showman. Canelo's not a showman. He was for a little bit in 2021.
I mean, because Billy Joe was talking shit.
You know what I'm saying? That was the peak. That's it. We're not going to see that anymore.
Of course
not. I've been saying this for a long time now. Like, that was it.
See, I've never argued that he was going to change. What I've always said is you guys thinking that he still doesn't have what it takes to win.
To end a fight, no.
Not who's talking about? I
want to see knockouts.
See, that's the problem. That right there is the problem. You haven't seen a knockout from him since he won undisputed.
Exactly.
But it's not about that.
But would Canelo back then knock out Scull?
No, fuck not.
You don't think so?
Not if Scull was going to be running around.
Billy Joe was running around?
No, he wasn't. Not like this.
At the end, se aferró.
Not like this. Because Scull never let his hands go. What was he doing? He fucking jabbed once, ran.
Mm-hmm.
Jabbed, cross, ran. Come on, my boy.
That's why I said 70 is Skull's fault. But the 30, I go to Canelo because you are there to end it. You are there to finish him. You are not there to follow him.
Look, it's like my boy said. He said, I don't understand where these low-level fighters are coming to get an opportunity with Canelo and think that they've achieved something by not getting knocked out. That's the problem. That they think they achieved. It's the same thing that happened with
Berlanga
or Charlo. That they think that they fucking achieved something so great because they did not get knocked out. And what does that tell you? That they didn't go in there to fucking win. They went in there to get paid and survive. The only one that you can give credit to because he won a lot of fans was Berlanga. Berlanga went in there and he was fucking trying to show everybody that he is him. Now he needs to show that he actually is him, though. You know what I'm saying?
Follow up.
Yeah, but we're not talking about him right now. Yes, 70-30. Okay, I'll give it to you.
70-30, Skull's fault. It was a horrible fight. Probably top 2, maybe top 1 worst Canelo fight I've ever seen. Ever. But he won nonetheless. Pretty much, what was it, like 8 or 9 rounds to like 3?
Yeah, someone crazy out there said that fucking William Scull had like 5 rounds. I don't know how the fuck you see 5 rounds towards William Scull. But look, I believe that if you go there to just fucking get a paycheck and you don't want to fight, then this is what you get.
I'll tell you. Now, I'll tell you 2 names. I'll tell you 3 names who ain't going in there to survive.
Hold on, because I'm gonna say it first. But this is where you say it is 100% Canelo's fault because it's like, why did you choose this fight? Right? Why couldn't you just fight Crawford without the 3 belts?
And then?
No, I'm just saying that's it.
In September, who would he fight?
Well, a rematch. or fight William Scull afterwards. See, this is what Canelo was usually doing: is that you take a high level fight, and then you take a fucking bullshit William Scull fight to get your undisputed back, and then you take a big fucking fight again.
Yes, for sure.
He should have done it backwards.
Luckily, at this point, I already edited this video, and people know exactly who popped up on the screen as I was saying
that. Anyways, co-main to Canelo though
is the man as aforementioned, Jaime Munguia.
Good job, Jaime. You beat the man that knocked you out.
Trilogy.
I mean, you look a little better than your other times, but
this is one of those wins where like history will look at it and be like when somebody Google's who's Jaime Munguia back then, and then he's looking at his record. Oh, he lost to Bruno, but then he beat him.
Yes,
but that's not the story.
No. Like, you look like shit when you got knocked out, and this one you look less like shit, but like there's something.
You won, but you still smell like shit.
Yeah, like something's up with Jaime. Like ever since the Canelo's effect, you get your fucking silk sheets. Suddenly you ain't waking up. Your girl looks fine. She was a stripper, you know what I'm saying? So she treating you good. He buzz cut. I don't like that. You look a little chunky, even though you're fit.
He no longer looks like Christian Noodle.
Yes. Look, at this point, you won. I keep hearing little yappers that we might see Berlanga Munguia as the co-main for Crawford and Canelo.
I think it would make sense at this point because Plant and Charlo look like they're in a collision course. So all the pieces are falling where they need to fall right now, as far as super middleweight. I mean, you would think Munguia would look better now that he's training with Reynoso, but he just did enough to win. Like, that's the story of the weekend, was doing enough to win. Nobody went out and showed out. Like, and Munguia was somebody, well, in this card. And I know where you were going. What I was going to say is that this is the fight, though, that Munguia should have shown out.
Yeah.
And he should have cleaned his clock out and said that first fight was a fluke, because he was winning the first fight.
Yeah. I mean, it essentially what ended up happening is the way he fought this fight was the way he was fighting the last fight, but he wasn't looking great. Like, he was still looking a little rough, and then he got knocked out. So I think he was supposed to make and again, I don't care if you don't win by knockout. What I'm saying is look dominant.
I care.
Because he did not dominate, on this fight. But it's neither here or there. I think the only way to bounce back is you got to make people forget about this Bruno Saras. I think maybe he really is better than what people give him credit for. The problem is he's unknown.
Well, the answer is, like you said, the answer is in Berlanga.
Yes.
Berlanga. That's going to really redeem you back into you're a badass.
Yeah. Because right now, at first, I didn't think you would lose to Berlanga, but now I'm like, Berlanga's fucking confidence are up to fucking levels. So it's like,
I got 55-45 Munguia.
See? Based on what I'm seeing, I would say 60-40 Berlanga.
Whoa.
So he's really going to have to step up, show out, and do out.
Yes, but speaking of out, the mascot of this channel has failed us.
I think we went almost a year straight, or almost every episode we did, somehow, some way, we always mention our golden boy, Ryan Garcia.
Topic number 3, Ryan Garcia losing to the GOAT.
To Rolando.
Rolly Romero.
Look.
I think Rolly.
No, but you got to give credit to Rolly. Let me tell you why.
Oh my God.
I think this is one of those stories of iron sharpens iron. Say whatever you want about Rolly, but my boy was going through real high, tough fights back to back. Even though when he lost to knockouts. But guess what that caused? I think that's the reason why he learned, and he found a game plan that worked against someone like Ryan, right? I think Rolly, just based on his experience against Pitbull, the fucking old man, Tank, like, my boy, like, there was he had to learn, you know what I'm saying? Like, he looked more disciplined. He looked like he was following some type of game plan. and I mean, he looked more of a boxer than we've ever seen him.
You know, it's funny. We about
Oh, sorry, before. And he looked huge.
he did fill out.
Motherfucker filled out 147 to me.
When there was this in the promo in the lead up, they had the round table, and they had everybody on there from the 3 big fights, and we were joking that Rolly was the most quiet one there. But what do they say? The quiet ones are the ones that get you.
Yeah.
And it was out of character because we were used to Rolly being, Rolly talking his ish. But I think Ryan was so focused on Haney and potentially Telfimo, he really overlooked how good Rolly came in looking.
Or was it really the missing juices?
No.
What do you think?
What does Haney think?
What do you think?
I think.
First of all, do we as a community right now truly believe that Ryan was juicing? It's a simple yes or no.
I'm going to say yes, but not to an extreme John Jones level.
Okay.
Because he still looked good physically in this fight.
Yes.
Like he still looked like he made proper weight. He didn't look drained. He didn't look like he was fatigued. I think something right here, as always with Ryan, he looked out of confidence.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that the madness that he was in, and look, as sad as it may be, maybe Ryan gets fueled by whatever craziness he was going through.
He thrives in the chaos.
Yeah, like he actually thrives in the chaos, but now it's like he needs to learn his new positions. I'm not saying the Ryan that we were seeing was the correct one. I think he was going through some real shit. He was saying some crazy shit. And, like the drinking and alcohol abuse he was talking about, obviously, it's not going to lead anywhere great, So I think he just needs to learn to find a different type of spark, a different fire to feed that.
Well, now it better be anger because everyone's calling him a fraud.
Hey, hopefully this is what pushes him to, to be better. But let me say this: he needs to learn to keep that fucking hand up, that right hand.
It's like he only fights with one arm.
Yeah, and it's like it's the same fucking left hook that fucking Campbell dropped him with. It's the same left hook that fucking Tink dropped him with. You know what I'm saying? It's the same. Him put the left hand up, keep the right hand down, and then he fucking pulls back and he gets hit.
It's funny. His strongest weapon is his biggest weakness.
Yes, literally.
like that's what it is.
Literally. And I think it's like, obviously, I'm no professional boxer, so I can only say what I see. But obviously, if you're going to keep your hand up, when you pull back, at least pull back
fully guarded,
right? But I think at the end of the day, it's also showing that, because I think Rolly carries some real power. But he keeps getting hit, and he's not like he's rocked, right? It's like a momentum type of drop.
I actually wanted to ask you this about Rolly. Does Rolly, you as a fan, does Rolly
us, because you said the GOAT, so I think it's us as a fan.
I like. He's funny. He's good for boxing. Does Rolly, before this fight, was Rolly giving you this stigma of he's not a power puncher, he's a boxer? Like, I feel like people don't respect his hands.
No, I actually always thought Rolly's an awkward boxer, but has power to back it up.
But I think because he was a boxing tank, people have this perception of like, oh, he's a better boxer than one. He's not a power hitter.
No, he definitely has power.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think now he gained that respect.
Yeah,
like don't forget, he's got bombs for hands.
Yeah, like he's got power. Like, but I want to transition a little bit because now I feel like this is gonna go hand in hand, because obviously the co-main to that Ryan Rolly fight
on
was
Friday night.
A fucking other.
If Canelo Scull pissed you off,
yeah,
this one sent you to the grave.
Yeah, we had another William Scull on Haney versus Ramirez, where if there was ever a glimpse of PTSD, I think it was whatever Haney was going through. If we're talking about someone's, overthinking, has something in his mind and is lacking confidence, I think it was Devin Haney this night.
Before we get into Haney and we rip him apart, Do you think Haney woke up Sunday morning going after or Saturday morning after Ryan lost?
Like satisfied?
Like he was a fraud kind of deal.
I think.
Or this is the perfect blanket for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just is gonna help him justify his fucking lawsuit. But
Go ahead.
as a man, I don't think I don't think that should fucking make you feel good.
In other words, you a bitch.
You know, like there's no way that made you feel good, right? So
I tell that to Haney because I think anything makes him feel good at this point right now. It looks like his confidence is low too. You know what's
no,
funny?
his confidence is definitely low because you cannot go from a super high level performance fighting someone like Lomachenko and then you fucking dominate someone like Regis Prograis to show this. Because even in your ass whooping by Ryan Garcia, you were winning every round that you weren't fucking on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
who looked worse? Ryan losing the way he lost or Haney winning the way he won?
I think Haney.
Haney looked as a worse winner.
Because see, at the end of the day, we always said Ryan is not a boxer. Like he can't box. He has power. He's a good counterpuncher.
And to his credit, I consider Rolly a tougher opposition than Ramirez at this point.
100%. Right.
Because Ramirez, 4 years ago, would have been like, we would have been talking about Ramirez the way we're talking about Rolly. But at this point, we're getting kind of not the corpse of Ramirez, but it's more of like the afterthought of Ramirez.
Yeah, I think he's going down the road of Jojo Diaz that he was a name and you just want to have him on your resume or you want to use him.
It's like what's his name? He was Venezuelan. Linares.
Yes.
Jorge Linares.
Linares is another one that fell into that trap where he might get like a low level win and then they want to use him as a fucking, we have an ex-champion, you know?
Yeah.
But see, now that we kind of, if you saw the fight, you know, he ran. I mean, it's not the Devin Haney that won undisputed. It's not the Devin Haney that was fucking shining with confidence when he beat Regis Prograis. It is not the Devin Haney that was talking all kinds of shit going into the Ryan Garcia fight. My biggest question now is, both their performances suck. Does this justify the rematch now? Because technically, this was the whole point of this. Ryan fought Rolly, wins that fight. Haney fights Ramirez, wins his fight, so that they can meet towards the fall in a rematch fight.
I don't think it happens. And before we transition to possibly the MVP runner-up of that night,
no, I'm not transitioning. I'm trying to ask you.
No, I know, but I wanted to ask you this before I forget. What's next for Ryan if it's not Haney?
That's literally what I was talking about.
Right. So if it's not Haney,
rudely interrupted me.
That's because I was going to throw an option. Ryan and Haney does not happen.
Okay.
Give me Ryan Pitbull.
That's literally what I was trying to get at.
Oh, good for you.
Freaking disrupted me so bad.
I'm sorry. It's just the people miss me.
No, they don't.
All right, you were gone all weekend.
I literally was trying to make a point. Like, do you think Ryan Haney should happen? No. So what's next?
I think I low-key brain vomited just right there.
I was so confused why you thought I was going to transition to a different
I'll give you the Haney part then. Continue with the Haney part.
No, I mean, that was my point. Like, based on the performances, do you think it was still... Do people still want to see the rematch? And I'll give you both reasons, yes and a no.
Oh, okay.
All right. Reason number one is yes. And why? Because now they both need each other as a comeback fight, right? So it's like if they can sell the fight, which I think they can.
There's still some meat on the bone.
Yeah, I think based on what happened in the original fight, there's still enough interest in the fight because at the end of the day, it was a crazy fight. It was
a crazy night.
Yeah, it was a crazy night. It was a crazy fight. It was a crazy build-up. It was crazy times.
Outside in MSG, that I ain't gonna lie, that looked cool. I like that.
I don't even know if that was cool for them though, because it was quiet. Apparently, that's one of the things that Ryan said. Like, so many people were in my head. I can hear everyone talking.
No, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, me neither. But that goes back to my point. They both had a bad night, but they had a crazy momentum on the first fight. They both need each other, right? So technically speaking, the winner of that fight is going to be the bigger star out of it again. Now we can flip it though. But if they go in straight into the rematch, are anyone really interested though? Are they going to lose out on big pounds of cash for not building it up again.
They might not earn as much as they would if they both would have won. However, they can still market the fight. However, Ryan would have to be the villain.
Yes, of course.
He would have to be absolutely the villain because he knows he would be called fraud, cheater, everything. Like, it's like in wrestling. You always have your good guy and your bad guy, right? In this scenario, Ryan would be like the Randy Orton of this. Like, he's the bad guy. And Haney would be the John Cena. He's the squeaky clean guy because he was robbed. That's how they can market it. Mm-hmm. That's essentially the only way you can market it.
If you go straight to the rematch.
Yes. But do I want to see the rematch? Now? No. Right now, no. I don't. I want to see some momentum.
I'm conflicted. I don't know. Because now this is where I would have transitioned if you would have let me just continue my toasting. Yes, I was going to say, I think if they were going to have another in-between fight to try to remake the rematch until maybe the end of the year or April of next year I do believe the next obvious choice for Ryan might have been Pitbull. The only issue that I have with Pitbull is he is technically tinier and he would have to move up to 147. That's the only issue that I have with Ryan versus Pitbull, because the one that I also would lean towards is actually Rayo, because Rayo actually is a little bigger and he's coming off of a loss, and then Ryan's coming off of a loss.
Or Ryan versus Stanionis.
No. You know, because other little yapping that I was hearing was Ryan versus Jose Ramirez, but why the fuck are we gonna flip that?
No.
Because I was hearing we'll have Ryan fight Ramirez and Haney fight Rolly, which I'm not mad if Haney fights Rolly.
But Rolly doesn't want
it. Because you know they fucking Haney's gonna run.
But I think if there's somebody that's gonna press as much as Ryan, if not more, it's gonna be Rolly.
I hope so. People are not fucking just.
And low-key, the build-up between Ryan or Rolly and Haney would kind of be funny. like Rolly can get in Haney's head as bad as Ryan can. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I like more the Pitbull fight. I think Pitbull still has a heavier name that if you can beat him, he's credible. And I think easier wise, it makes more sense for Ryan because technically, again, Pitbull's a little shorter, a little tinier. So if he moves up to 147, it's not like Ryan is taking on a big fucking puncher.
I think this is how it would go. Haney would fight preferably Rolly, but if it's not Rolly, maybe the third man in this lineup, yo boy, Teofimo Lopez, defeating Arnold Barboza Jr. by unanimous decision. Again.
But it's not about the way the
I was about to get to that before you rudely interrupted me. Did not knock him out. Typical Teofimo type expectations, right? But looked good. He looked good. He made Barboza look stupid. He made him look like he never belonged in there with him to begin with, because there was a lot of buildup for this fight. A whole lot of
50-50 Teofimo.
Yeah.
Mindset.
After Barboza beat Catterall, like it was like this big old buildup for it. Mm-hmm. Teofimo looked like he was probably the second best 147 pounder in that division.
Yes, he is. Doesn't look like it. Yes, he is. There's a difference.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to this shit.
But is he ready for the top level?
100%.
Okay.
Bring it on.
We will.
We will bet on that.
Absolutely.
But for sure,
tell these people we're talking about.
Oh, Teofimo versus fucking Ryan Garcia, 100%.
Teofimo
versus Boots.
Called out Mr. Botas, Boots Ennis.
See, that's gonna be a fucking great fight.
I think that's the fight to make at this point at 147. A lot of people thought it would be the Ryan Haney 2 winner, or maybe just Ryan or Haney in general. But I think those two potentially might fall into the sacrificial lamb for Shakur at some point. I think right now the big 147 clash has to be Teofimo Boots. This is all roads lead to this fight, apparently.
Yes, 100%. Especially with that performance, I think he justifiably got himself into big talks for that Boots fight.
Those two have a lot of momentum, Teofimo and Boots, with the way they both looked in their last two fights.
And they both like to be little showmen. They both have their little.
That shit talking between the two is gonna be crazy. I'm going for Boots, but I know Teofimo's gonna say some stuff out of pocket. Just out of pocket. We know you, Teofimo. We know
that's
you.
How I know you have your little fan. Try to act like you're not.
That's not why. That's not why. But Teofimo looked good. I think he was the runner-up MVP of the night behind Rolly. I mean, if it's not Boots, what can you do with him?
But you could do Haney, but it's like it goes back to the same thing. Is Haney mindset ready for a competition?
I don't know, but there was enough to build that fight up because those two were mouthing off at each other a lot.
Yeah, but see, Haney had to show out for him to justify. Because see, Teofimo's gonna be like, why the hell do I want a Haney fight when I can go straight for the belt?
And Boots wants it too.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Boots is the way to go.
There is another route in this division that was reported today. The return of Pac-Man. Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios set.
I would have been happy with Teofimo versus Barrios. Why are we doing Pac-Man?
We're really going in the time machine for this one, huh? If Pacquiao beats Barrios,
it's a Keith Thurman repeat.
Where does Pac-Man fit in all 2025? Where does Manny Pacquiao fit in all this? You think Barrios beats Pac-Man?
No, I'm saying like he wouldn't fit with the other.
Exactly, because he's disrupting the timeline.
Yeah, not just that, but I mean, there's levels, there's ages. No, come on, don't look at me. It's not
Pacquiao Teofimo, who wins?
This is not prime Pac-Man. This is just sad if he fucking gets knocked out.
What if he beats the shit out of Barrios like Keith Thurman style?
That's fine, but I'm saying is Mario Barrios is not Teofimo and is not Boots
or Thurman.
At this point, probably Thurman wants that fight just to prove a point.
Oh, I would love that fight as a fan of Thurman.
Yeah, of course.
But at 154.
See, I felt bad. I mean, I think when legends are retired, they should just say retired to see
4 years out of the game.
But before this fight was announced, like I was already hearing little fucking sprinkles of conversations that Pac-Man was running out of dinero, just like fucking the news of Mayweather supposedly going bankrupt. Out there, it's like all this money these people made, and it looks like something's not.
10 years later, that fight that they had together, it looks like that cash is gone. But again, it doesn't matter. Pacquiao beats Barrios. He's in the same tier.
No, he's in a conversation, but he is not in the same tier. There's a difference. Because Barrios is in a conversation right now,
okay,
because he holds the belt, but he is not in the same tier.
Would you be pissed if Pacquiao beats Barrios, and because of where Boots is at? Boots gets the unification bout with Pacquiao and doesn't give Teofimo a shot.
I don't think Boots would go towards Pac-Man because I think there's more to prove by fighting a Teofimo. So I wouldn't be mad, but I mean, I don't want to see it. I really don't.
This really pisses. This grind your gears, huh? You thought we were done with that era, huh? Can't wait for Miguel Cotto to come back. Yeah, he wouldn't come back. Miguel's a goat.
I don't know what that means. It's okay. We're okay with that.
Well, there you guys have it. That's the state of the 147 division. What was a year ago a horrible, shallow division has now become probably top 5 in boxing.
Yeah.
Again.
It's making a comeback again.
But speaking of comebacks,
our weekend is still not over, ladies and gentlemen.
We moved to Sunday.
We started at Saturday. We went backwards to Friday. Now we're moving forward.
Sunday fun day.
To Sunday, where we had our boy Inoue make his first debut fight in the U.S. First time fighting outside of Japan. And boy,
shut up, shut down.
Mr. Ramon Cardenas, which, by the way, before he was fighting this, he was actually a Lyft driver. Mr. Lyft driver got called to fight number 2, pound for pound, legend right now, fucking future Hall of Famer, fucking Inoue.
In Las Vegas.
He got the biggest opportunity of his lifetime, and he showed that he can hang with the big boys.
Second man to knock Inoue down for the count.
But see, this is where I like to say what separates
The boys.
the boys with the legends.
Oh.
Inoue got dropped, right?
Again.
Got up.
Again.
And he adjusted.
Again.
And he boxed and countered and volume punched the shit out of fucking Ramon.
Again.
Got the TKO victory.
Again.
That shows adversity. If you can Google Translate, it says overcome adversity. That's what we believe here.
And if you're a potential suitor to fight Inoue, now you got to tell yourself, this man, even if you knock him down, you're not shaking him out.
Mm-hmm. Nah, you better be ready to.
He's shown layers.
Yeah, there's levels to this shit, ladies and gentlemen.
And who's the one to peel those layers back?
We're hoping will be the one.
Oh, Jesse Bam Rodriguez.
Yeah, so we kind of told you this a little bit. There's two routes that I can see where this is going now, right? There is the route where if I am Inoue, I'm contemplating, can I really keep pushing myself to go higher in weight classes? And can I take that same punch that I got hit with and get up, outbox him, and take him out, right? If I go up to 126, or is this the level that I'm gonna stay at, clear the division, and just have one mega fight versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez? What do you think, Julio?
I think he goes and fights Negatani. Gets.
Did you just say Negatani? Oh boy. Turn the fucking mic on. God damn, boy. Negatani? What is that shit?
He fights Nagatani.
There we go.
Get some momentum in Japan. You do that in Japan, right where they dropped the nuke. And you let Bam have another mega fight. Who could Bam fight? Yes, to end the end of an era fight for there. Thank you. That's what I was missing.
You're welcome.
Let those two win those two fights, and you pair them up early 2026 right back in Vegas.
Yeah.
As a co-main.
A co-main?
Yes.
To who?
Paul versus
Oh, you're a piece of shit. Stop it. I'm not going down that fucking rabbit hole with you.
No, they wouldn't come in. That would be a mega fight on its own. That is Bam and Inoue, the two monsters of their nations, coming head to head. And I hope he comes out to Cristian Nodal. And I hope he comes out to Wapam Gangnam Style.
Korean, you racist.
Oh shit! I'm not editing none of this out. This is all staying. Fine. No. The singer from Tokyo Drift.
I don't know.
Tokyo, Fast and Furious. Tick, 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 tick.
Okay. Anyways, Julian, you're there.
In front of our friends.
The other fight that we were talking about was someone who actually fought under his undercard, Mr. Rafael.
And there's the wild card.
He's a champ at 126. He's a beautiful 6'1", 126 pounder.
The divine one.
Yeah.
El Divino.
You know it's 5'5", and we got 6'1".
He's a big boy, yeah.
Yeah. We would definitely see a big difference in the height, but hey, he has a very similar style to Fundora. He fights in the inside for some reason when they're tall. Has a lot of volume, carries a lot of power. So it'd be nice to see if
his uppercuts are crazy for someone who's so much taller than his opponents. Like he's literally like reaching down to like land that.
So that is, like Julio said, another wild card where, hey, maybe that's the reason why Top Rank put them both, on the same card. But
am I making you tired?
No, I heard that.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to be toxic like you are sometimes.
But yes, that's a wild card. I think that's another potential good fight. I don't think Rafael Espinosa is as known
white there yet.
So obviously his performance against Mr. Vasquez was great. But I don't know if he has the stardom to really have that mega quote unquote fight that we would be looking for, like Bam Rodriguez.
Who did Inoue beat last year?
Steve Fulton.
Yes, give me that versus Espinosa.
Yes.
That versus Espinosa is the jump pad
Yes.
to getting in the discussion with the big boys.
Yeah, especially since he just recently beat what's his name? Brandon Figueroa on the rematch. He looked good, you know, with his little Tims.
What's wrong with Tim's?
Nothing.
Thank you.
But yes, welcome in a way. Welcome to America.
And welcome, Divino. Welcome to the big boys.
Yeah.
Soon. And
Is it? Was it? So you got
welcome
to my world.
No, there was something else.
No.
There was something else.
No, stop it.
Something else, guys.
No, not tonight.
Jake Paul. No, I'm kidding, guys. But yes, as always, that's the news that we have for boxing. We have more coming up because, as we said, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of divisions. So after this, the beautiful part about all of this pile of shit that we just saw is that now there's going to be a lot of moving parts coming up. And who's here to cover all those moving parts that get matched up soon?
Every single time someone drops a pile of shit on the fucking dirt, a beautiful garden of flowers blooms from it. So something great will come from all this, ladies and gentlemen. Something great.
That's a beautiful quote, I guess. But until then, though, keep hitting the like, share, and the subscribe button. As always, the social media handles are in the description. We appreciate all the followings. We recently hit a boom in our TikTok. We appreciate that, y'all. So until next time, para la gente que está en español, gracias por ponerle los subtítulos. La social media está en la descripción. Síguenle compartiendo y gracias por el apoyo a todos. Until next time, everybody. Peace.